Presidential spokesperson Roque downplays the lack of any written order to close Boracay, 2 days before its shutdown Thursday. 2 orders are expected to come from Malacanang, an executive order on the closure itself and a proclamation of a state of calamity covering Boracay. A proclamation will facilitate the speedy release of funds for Boracay's rehabilitation. It will also authorize the programming or reprogramming of funds for the repair and safety upgrading of public infrastructure and facilities. It also allows for automatic appropriation for unforeseen expenditures and for local governments to enact a supplemental budget. But Roque says, quote, "It's just a matter of the president signing it." He adds Filipinos already know about the plan due to President Rodrigo Duterte's verbal statements about Boracay's 6-month closure. Roque also says the needed funds are already there and the documents are forthcoming. The Supreme Court on Bank in a landmark ruling Tuesday recognizes divorce and marriages with foreigners. Voting 10-3 to 1, the SC Bank rules that a foreign divorce secured by a Filipino against a foreign spouse is also considered valid in the Philippines, even if it is the Filipino spouse who files for divorce abroad. The landmark case was that of Marilyn Tanedo Manalo, who was married to Japanese national Minoru Yoshino. Manalo filed for and was granted divorce in Japan in 2011. She went to court in Dagupan City in the Philippines to have her divorce recognized here. The trial court in Dagupan denied her petition. But the Court of Appeals overturned the trial court's decision in 2014, saying Manalo should have the right to remarry. It applied the amended Article 26(2) of the Family Code. Former President Corazon Aquino issued an executive order that amended the provision so that it included, quote, "where a marriage between a Filipino citizen and a foreigner is validly celebrated and a divorce is thereafter validly obtained abroad by the alien spouse, capacitating him or her to remarry, the Filipino spouse shall likewise have capacity to remarry under Philippine law." The Philippine government, through the Office of the Solicitor General, went to the SC to try to reverse the CA's ruling. With Manalo's victory at the SC level, the state now recognizes the divorce, and couples of mixed marriage who get divorced in a foreign country will be considered not married to each other under Philippine law. A Pulse Asia survey shows the top concerns of most Filipinos are rising inflation and increasing workers' pay. According to the survey, Filipinos' urgent concerns are economic in nature: workers' pay, inflation, poverty, and jobs. Public concern about the need to increase workers' pay and protect the welfare of overseas Filipino workers becomes more pronounced between December 2017 and March 2018, while levels of concern about fighting corruption and enforcing the rule of law dropped during the same period. Concerns about workers' pay is most pronounced in Class D at 54% and Class E at 41%. Concern about controlling inflation was strongest among the ABC classes at 55%. The survey also shows population growth, national territorial defense, terrorism, and charter change are the least of Filipinos' concerns. Former President Benigno Aquino says he has no plan to run for public office in the 2019 elections. Asked by Rappler if he is considering to run for senator next year, Aquino says, quote, "not at this time." Aquino says he'd like to focus on the re-election of his cousin, Senator Bam Aquino. He says, quote, "what would be best for the party? For me to run in my own personal capacity or help them get elected? I'd rather help them with their campaigns." LP President and Minority Leader Senator Kiko Pangilinan says the party is set on forming an opposition slate, dubbed the Resistance, for the 2019 senatorial elections. But it is unclear if LP can field a complete Senate slate. So far, only Bam Aquino is the sure LP candidate. He says LP is still in talks with other groups for a possible coalition, adding some are urging former presidential candidate Mar Rojas to run. North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un will walk across the demilitarized zone Friday for a historic summit with the South Korean President Moon Jae-in. The meeting on the southern side of the truce village of Panmunjom will pave the way for a highly anticipated encounter between Kim and United States President Donald Trump. Pyongyang over the weekend announced a moratorium on nuclear tests and intercontinental ballistic missile launches. Trump in response tweets, quote, "we haven't given up anything and they have agreed to denuclearization. So great for world, site closure, and no more testing." Just last year, North Korea carried out its 6th and by far most powerful nuclear test to date and launched missiles capable of reaching the US mainland, while Kim and Trump traded personal insults and threats of war.